Sunrise Daily. Well, tomorrow will be the big day for Osun State. Babaji Dunkunsanwo, our data analyst, joins us this time. Thank you for coming on this morning, Judy. Well, so many are looking to see what is likely going to happen. We've seen INEC coming up with some directive to make sure they stop vote buying. We've seen politicians respond to some of those things. But what have you been looking into?
It depends, Chamberlain. Do you want us to start with Osun? Should we even start with Kano? Because again, a lot of people are really wondering what will go on in Kano. Is President Buhari defeatable in Kano? Because the fact shows that in all his elections, he has never lost in Kano. But again, we'll discuss that some other day. But let's look at some 12 states that INEC says have seen the weakest registration growth. And even though Kano is among those 12 states that have the weakest number of new voters, so you have just about 10% of new voters that have registered in Kano compared to 2015. Osun State is among those 12. So what you see is there seems to be voter apathy across these 12 states. But what you will also find out, Chamberlain, is among these 12 states, 6 of them are in the Northwest. So it's really not a Kano problem. It's a problem in the Northwest. So it's either people aren't willing to register in the Northwest, 1, or it's difficult for them to register, 2, or perhaps there has been an over-registration in the Northwest. Because again, based on INEC's data, 12 states, 6 out of these 12 states with the weakest growth in registration, 6 out of these 12 are in the Northwest. But when it comes to Osun, here's the concern. 2015, we had 1.4 million registered voters. Today, we have approximately 1.7 million registered voters. So it does seem that yes, even though Osun State is not the least, some people turned out to register in Osun State, but the challenge, Gimba, is it is not those that are registered that vote. It is those that collect their PVCs that vote.
Two separate things there.
Oh, 2 separate things. So it's really not about voter registration, it's about PVC collection. And if we also look at PVC collection, Osun State is among 7 states that between 2015 and 2018 have the weakest PVC collection. Here's what I mean. Between 2015 and 2018, approximately less than 10,000 new PVCs have been collected in Osun State. Less than 10,000 new PVCs in 3 years.
Wow.
Now, here's why this is important. Borno State, yes, has the fewest PVC collection, less than 3,000. And then we have Ekiti State, less than 5,000 PVCs collected in 3 years. Gombe State, just about 5,000. Kano State, just about 7,000. And Osun State.
But with Kano, before we go to other states, it turns out that in the previous slide where there were the least people who had registered, now here they've dusted some states in collection of PVC.
Yes, they've dusted some states, but again, you're looking at Kano with a population and those that voted the last time. You're looking at about 2 million voters.
So they already have a huge figure.
They already have a huge figure. So the concern is that figure original? What exactly is going on in the Northwest that fewer people are registering? Have they hit their roof? Have they hit the ceiling of registration? So INEC needs to be able to investigate the voter database in the Northwest.
So why is Kano able to have this figure 7,464 as the collection rate for PVCs?
That isn't a significant number. 7,000, only 7,000 numbers. What it means is the 2019 election is about the same number of people that voted in 2015 that will vote in 2019. But does that mean President Buhari will win Kano again? No, it doesn't. Because let's look at what happened in Ekiti State. In Ekiti, during the presidential election, the people voted for a party. They voted the PDP. So President Jonathan won Ekiti State in 2015. But when it came to the election, for the governorship election, the last governorship election, it was not the PDP that won, it was the APC. And even though it was about the same number of voters, and why do I say the same number of voters? Ekiti State just had less than 5,000 new PVCs collected between 2015 and 2018. And that shows that more power is going to the people. The people are determining who they will vote for. So it's no longer about the party, it is about the people taking the decision on if they will vote the party or they will vote the candidate. Because we've seen that the same voters that voted in 2015, that voted PDP as a party in 2018, even though we had the same number of voters, they voted another party. And that shows progress. That shows we are making some good progress. But with Osun, about the same thing. We are going to be seeing an election where about the same number of people that voted in 2015, when we had 642,000 voters, these are the same guys that will be coming out to vote. And even though in 2015 they voted for the APC, is there a guarantee that this time, tomorrow, they will vote for the PDP? There's no guarantee, but there are three other things that we'll talk about.
Well, Judy, looking at these figures of fewest PVC collections since 2015, we've had some elections ever since 2015, but could there be landmines, things we should be looking to avoid moving forward?
Oh, yes, there are, especially for Osun State. Even though there are 30 local governments, if you look at what happened in 2014, there were only 9 local governments where the APC had more than 5,000 votes. So for INEC, that will be one of the or those are the 9 local governments that they need to put more focus when it comes to planning and preparation. Because these are the 9 local governments that largely determined who became governor. The 9 local governments where the APC scored above 5,000 votes. Every other of the 21 local governments, the APC had the winning margin of 5,000 and below. Now, what you notice in these 9 local governments is 5 of them are from Osun West. 2 are from Osun Central, Osogbo, and Olorunda. So we can clearly see that for planning purposes, to minimize vote buying, to minimize violence, even though all local governments and everybody's life is equally important, these are the 9 local governments that will likely have a high tendency to determine who will become the next governor in Osun State. So these are the landmines that we all need to put extra preparation and focus on. But more than these landmines, people are interested in asking who will win. And even though we don't know if it's going to be the PDP, SDP, ADP, we've got over 30 political parties. And we can't forecast exactly what will happen. But we can look at history and see 3 things that have happened in the last 3 governorship elections. Starting with the Ondo election, where the APC had a margin over the PDP of 94,000 votes. Now in the next election, we've seen the margin between the APC and the PDP thinning out. So it moved from 94,000 in Ondo to 28,000 in Anambra. Again, the margin between the APC and the PDP. And now, the last election that happened in Ekiti, these margins further thinned out. So what we can clearly see is that even though the APC has had a consistent winning margin over the PDP in the last 3 elections, these margins have been consistently declining. Now, if we go by history, which is just one way out of several ways to predict what will happen in the future, this shows what possibly could happen. But again, the history isn't the only way to predict what will happen in the future. Things do change, and this will be rubbish. But it's almost clearly certain that those that will determine who will win the Osun election are those same group that voted in 2015, because we've had fewer PVC collections.
I know historians who would jump up their seats and say, no way, you always know what a man can do by what is done before.
What do you think will happen when Nigeria plays Argentina the next time?
Well,
going by history.
Well, no matter how optimistic.
The game of football is quite different.
Yeah, from this one.
Yes, it is.
So, the footballers will tell you, well, look, these are just starting history. But at the back of their mind, they have it there. So, but it's a very interesting one to see what eventually happens at the end of the day.
But the most important thing is this election really should be about the voters, because more than anything else, people want better welfare in Osun State. lower poverty rates and they want new jobs. So the
Yeah.
governor needs to focus on how to grow the economy of Osun State.
And the media focus on issues concerning those elections as well. Thank you for coming on this morning, Jide Ogunsowo, our data analyst. And that's the show today. What a week it's been. We'll see you next week. I'm Chamberlain Osal.
And I am Gimba Umar. Bye for now.